Hey guys, welcome to Just Be Handy. Today we're going to tackle changing the spark plugs on this 2017 Outback. And I'm going to go with a little higher quality spark plug from NGK than what was recommended by Subaru. Also, because we're going to be removing this plenum, I'm going to clean the throttle body and put in a new PCV valve because all that stuff will be out of the way and it's just a good time to do it. The car just reached 59,000 miles, so at 60,000 you're supposed to change spark plugs. So I have a swivel type spark plug socket. It's a 14 millimeter. I even have all kinds of different wrenches and extensions, so I can even utilize my smallest, thinnest ratchet here. Also, just different tools to remove the plastic components around here, and dielectric grease to put on the boot of the coil before you put it back on the spark plug to keep any issues from like moisture or something fouling your spark plug. So this tool here, the 3/4, is good for putting on the PCV valve, and that's the best way to do that. Also, one of the things I'm going to do is upgrade my battery from the Subaru Group 25 battery to a Group 34 battery, because I just want more cold cranking amps. They max out at 625, 650 cold cranking amps, and living in the Northwest area, Midwest area, I would say that it's better to have 800 cold cranking amps for those winter days. So one of the things that I definitely recommend to prep too is to get your vehicle off the ground about 6 inches. So I have wooden ramps that I use that I stagger, and I've got the vehicle up about 6 inches off the ground. So that will enable me to reach down in for the spark plugs without having to overstretch my back. And you can see it's a far reach down there. So that's one of the things I recommend, so you're not overreaching, extending your back, and then you hurt yourself. So I do have this magnet here to definitely pick up tools or things that drop. And I guess let's get started. We'll have to remove the battery. I'm not going to use a battery tender to not lose memory. I'm fine with losing all the memory and resetting everything, but you can use a you can use an OBD2 battery maintainer, memory maintainer, and I'll show you, I'll put that in the description below, that you could utilize by hooking up to the OBD2 and then putting another battery to maintain the memory. But the reason I don't want to do that is when you use it, the positive stays hot. So you have to always make sure you cover that. That's why I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to unplug everything, take out that battery tray so I can have some room, get in there, clean everything up, you know, and just go from there. All right, let's get started with this. 10 millimeter. I'm going to do a quick dry fit of the Group 34. Fits like a glove. Okay, this battery tray has these 3 bolts here and then 2 more that are going horizontally into the unibody that are going this way, and they seem to be the same size. Getting those 2 out will probably be best served with like a box end wrench or something to get them loose and then take them out by hand. All right, these are 14 millimeter, so we'll try and break those loose. Let's see if this little Milwaukee can do it. Oh yeah, nice and easy. Yep, now we have the 2 that are going horizontally. All right, now we'll try just a regular 14 millimeter. I did grind some off here before. This tool sits in my toolbox for the tight spots. There we go. Got it loosened up, but the wrench fell through. But now I should be able to get it with this. All right, guys, 15 minutes later, and we almost have this loose. There's another vertical bolt down that way that we need to get at. So it's right here. There we go. All right. Now we can take this out. Now that gives us really good spacing here to be able to get at everything. What I'm going to do is blow everything out with shop air, clean it up so that I am not introducing dirt in here. All right, guys, now it's time to remove the coils. I don't like to undo the clips because I may compromise the clips. They get old, they get brittle. So I'm just going to leave them on, try to pull out the coils with the wire on, and then just drop it. And that should be good for here. Now this is a 10 millimeter. I like these wrenches from Gear Wrench. That's an 84 tooth. It allows you to get in there and you could pivot this a little bit. So let's see how that works. All right. Now we pull this coil out. Make sure you put this in a nice safe place where it's not going to fall. There we go. Nice and dry, so no oil penetrating. That's great. So I'm just going to drop that down there, and then we'll get to the next one. Man, I wish they gave us another inch. Let's try just putting the socket on it. Maybe that'll give us a little bit more grip on it. You might need some leverage to get at it. something like a long screwdriver or one of these pry bars should do. There. Alright guys, I was able to get a combination that works, and I will show you that in just a second here. You see the combination, it was just a small extension and then this being able to swivel. So this is what I'm going to try. It's a converter here. And should be able to get in there to get at that spark plug. Now that we loosened it up with the bigger wrench, we just don't want to get stuck, that wrench stuck in there with a loose spark plug. Yeah, there's no way I would have been able to just take that off with fingers. Wow, there's a lot of thread on these. Alright, I got it loosened up enough to get that plug out, and it still looks good. It's got a little bit more of a gap, and unlike Toyota, Subaru doesn't put a dot on their spark plugs to show that it's an OE spark plug. There's also a lot of goo in here. I don't think that is oil. It's more like a sealer of some sort, and I will not be putting a sealer. Actually, I looked up the website and it says for the NGKs, and they say not to put anything because they want good conductivity, and putting anti-seize would not make it better. It actually makes it worse because the zinc plating should be good. But this is the original NGK spark plug. I'm just going to try and take out everything with this one for the next spark plug here. See, it goes in real easy on this side, and looks like this little guy is going to do the job. Just needs a little bit more of an extension right now, but it's coming along. Spark plug number 2. This one looks just as clean, and again there's some sticky gunk on it, maybe some type of sealer that they put on these spark plugs. Alright, so I'm going to leave this the way it is. I'm going to go to the other side next and get those spark plugs out because I'm going to do that throttle body cleaning. I don't know if fluid is going to get in there, but having the spark plugs out allows the solvents to evaporate and not stay in there as a fluid. If I had it closed, they could puddle, do a fluid, and I'm not going to go crazy and to town on it to make it hydrolock the piston, but you never know. It's better to just get things going. And then I'll do an oil change afterwards just to get that stuff out of there. Alright, so let's move on to the other side. Okay, we've loosened this clamp up. Loosen this clamp. There we go. Okay, there's a hose at the bottom of the resonator. Don't forget that hose because it's on the clean side. So that's something to remember. Now we've got this all off. Okay, now we need more room by removing this mass airflow sensor, which we can also clean before we put it back. And this side of the air cleaner, that's all we really need to get access to everything we need access to. So let's remove these. These are small Phillips. We'll just move that sensor off to the side, take out these clips, and we should be good to go to remove this plastic piece off. Okay, when removing these, remember there may be an O-ring on this sensor, so you have to be careful and then put the screws back. I know it's easier to take the clip off, but I want to clean that mass airflow sensor if I'm going to be cleaning the throttle body. Again, there may be an O-ring, which there is right there. And we'll just set that off to the side for now and put these screws back in so you don't lose them. They're very tiny. All right, I'm just going to remove that mass airflow sensor out of here and put it in a safe spot so it doesn't get banged up or dirty. Especially with dirty hands. Wow, that is on there. There we go. I'm going to put this in a safe spot. There we go. And we'll just put it out of the way. The good thing about shooting videos is I can always look back if I missed anything. There, the whole air cleaner comes off, and that should give us the access we need. Now this is the passenger side. As you can see, there's a little bit more access here to get at things. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this since this is easier side. You guys don't need to watch me do everything, and the camera's in my way, so I don't want to be reaching over, and I really can't get a good angle on here. I don't have a GoPro or anything like that. All right, we're going to remove the coils. Front one first. Okay. I just use this to kind of be able to take it out by hand, and then it hit the airbox cover front end of it, but that worked. Nice and dry, so we're good to go. We'll just put that down there. This coil comes out a lot easier. For some reason, the ones on this side are a little tighter, so I'm going to use this combination. Much easier because there's more leverage. Now that I have it loose, I'm just going to get it out because I'll run out of room and then go to the front one, loosen that up. Since I have this all set up. There we go. Okay. Now we'll go back to the smaller combination so that we have no issues there. Okay, first spark plug out, looks good. All right, we got this out again too. It looks good. Okay, so now that we have all the spark plugs out, we're going to move to the throttle cleaning. Here's the holes, and there's the spark plugs. And now we'll do the throttle body cleaning. Well guys, what do you think? Do we need to clean the throttle body? So if you see a dark ring of carbon, then you definitely do need it. And to do it, you just spray your cleaner in there. And then after that, we also have good access to the PVC valve, so we will get that changed out as well. So we just pull that hose, use a 3/4 socket, pull that out, put the new valve in. It's good to do that because some of the oil consumption that happens with these Subarus is because that valve is not pushing the crankcase pressure back into here, and it's not, the suction from the manifold is not working because that valve is stuck. I used a plastic tool to kind of get in there so you can see better what's going on, and if we definitely need to just give it a little cleaning. There is a little carbon buildup in there, but it's not bad for almost 60,000. I'm just going to hit it and go from there. What I'm going to use is this CRC throttle body and air intake cleaner to clean that out, and just spray it in and leave it, and that's all you have to do. There's Okay, now to clean the mass airflow sensor, I'm going to use the CRC mass airflow sensor cleaner. It comes with a small bottle of the throttle body cleaner, and I'll put that in the description below. But it's worth hitting that mass airflow sensor so that you can get a clean reading of how much air is flowing through the intake plenum, and the fuel mixture can be adjusted properly. So good to do every 50 to 60,000 miles. So the heating elements that kind of sense the airflow are inside of here. So you will spray inside to clean these and then dump it out inside of here and dump it out. So don't use pressurized air. And then this element right here as well, you want that to be cleaned off. So this element and the elements down there. So good to clean. So I'm going to spray right in here, here, and then just let it air dry. The O-ring looks good. We'll just put some of the dielectric grease on it when we put it in, and it should be good to go. And this is what it looks like after cleaning. I don't know if you could see how the elements are much cleaner than they used to be. And now this will be good to go for putting back when we put everything in. So now we're just going to reverse the process, starting with putting the rear spark plug on with its coil on this side, then the front spark plug, and then putting the plenum back on, and then going to the other side. So now it's time to reverse all this process. Now I just wanted to show you the difference in these spark plugs. This one was touted as giving you better performance, so I'm going to try that out. This was definitely recommended by NGK as the proper replacement for that spark plug. We'll see what it does for fuel economy, but you can see this plug will last a lot longer based on the materials it uses and the design. So let me know what you think in the comments below. This one I'm going to leave in for 100,000 as well, where this one is only 60,000, recommended by Subaru. So I shouldn't have to do this until 150,000 miles on my vehicle. Right now it's got 59,000. Let me know what you think, guys. All right, to put this in, again, I did check the gap, and it is a little over 1 millimeter where it's supposed to be, because the spec is 1 millimeter to 1.04 millimeter. And I'm just going to put it in by hand. First, I like to go in and then go counterclockwise till I feel it click, which means the thread's lined up to go in, and then put it in by hand, and then I'll use tools to drive it in, and we'll torque it to 13 foot-pounds. So here we go with the rear spark plug. Try to get it in. Okay, we're going to go counterclockwise till I feel it click in. There we go. Then I go clockwise. And it's going in nice and smooth. And I'll keep going by hand until I just can't do it anymore. And then I'll put the ratchet on it to try and drive it in further. A lot of thread on these spark plugs. So you definitely know if you're cross-threading, which is a big no-no. Okay, so that is finger tight right now. So now we'll bring in the torque wrench and set to 13 foot-pounds. Looks like it's hard to get in there. Let's try to get this in first and then put the torque wrench on. Okay. All right. There we go. That was 13 foot-pounds. I don't know if you guys could hear it click. So now, again, it wouldn't go on like that. So now we're going to put that coil back in place. But before we do that, we will put some dielectric grease at the tip of the rubber boot, so that in case we do ever get the oil seals to go or anything like that, that dielectric grease will keep stuff from going in, keeps moisture from going in, all kinds of nice stuff. So let's put some dielectric grease in there. All right, so we have some dielectric grease, and this is just a little boar hair brush. I'll put a link to all this below in the description. So I just put a little bit in there like that, and then kind of get the brush in there, rolled around, so that when we put it on the spark plug, it goes up in the spark plug's ceramic. I'm going to put some dielectric grease on here as well, because there's a little gasket that goes on there. So let's put some dielectric grease there. Here we go. It doesn't snap in like, oh, there we go. It feels nice and tight now. So now we'll do the 10mm bolt. And these, they just need to be finger tight, because the torque spec is somewhere around 6 to 7 foot-pound. So just finger tight, guys. Don't go to town on it. There we go. Nice and sturdy. So now we want that front coil. to come up so we get it ready when we put in the new spark plug. There we go. And we'll just keep it out of the way right here. Time for the front spark plug. Again, we'll check to make sure it's at 1 millimeter. All right, so we've made sure the gap on this plug was correct. Now, again, we'll put it in. This is a magnetic socket. Again, I'll have it in the description below. I'm just going to stick with this guy because there was plenty of room before. Again, I'll go counterclockwise till I feel it seat. There we go, and then go clockwise to put the spark plug in. And then as much as I can by hand. I don't know what kind of gunk they used at Subaru, but man, I don't want to get in there and clean those threads with anything and shoot debris into the cylinder. So I'm just going to leave it on there and put in the new spark plug, and hopefully it'll cut its way in, which it feels like it's doing. So that feels like that's all I can do with my fingers. I'm going to try the torque wrench and see how far it goes. Looks like it's getting close. There we go. 13 foot-pounds. Again, we'll get the boot and put some dielectric grease on it. Okay, and then on the outer seal. All right. Yep, and that feels really good. Now time for that 10mm screw. All right, guys, we got them both in. So now to the putting the plenum and the airbox in. We'll just clean the airbox with a rag, moist rag, and then put the plenum back on with the mass airflow sensor, and not forgetting that hose that goes on the plenum, or on the resonator that goes on the plenum. So we've got a little bit of work to do here. Don't know if you guys can see at the end of this hose is the PCV valve, and you can definitely just pull the hose up and turn it off to the side. Then all you need is a 3/4 socket to get at that and take it out. So it helps to have a spark plug socket 3/4 with a little bit of a swivel to be able to get in there and get that off of there. So I don't think we need all these extensions, but this is all we probably need. So let's just take that baby out. Make sure this is on off. And it's really in there. There we go. Now you can see they had a little bit of like Teflon tape or something on it, and that's all you really need to use. And I would say it was about 15 foot-pounds of torque to hold it. See, it's barely moving, but it moves a little bit. So it's good time to change these at 60,000 miles. Now here's the new one, and it should look exactly like the old one. So there have been some on Amazon that are not from a dealer, so make sure if you do buy them from Amazon that it's a dealer that's selling it to you. So they should have the same numbers and everything on them. All right, guys, we'll put this in. I'll put a little bit of Teflon tape on this and then put it in at 13. So you could hear this one shaking, this one nothing. So the engine will be under a lot less pressure when it's running down the road, and you'll be able to get better fuel economy as well because you could draw the pressure from under the pistons out and you won't have oil kind of being consumed because it's going past the piston rings. So definitely recommend 60,000 miles. See, it hardly moves, where this one's just free floating. All right, guys. So this is the new one with Teflon tape on it. So I had the Teflon tape on there and I would roll it clockwise as if I was torquing it in, and that's what made it go on so nice and tight. And then we'll put this in. All right, so it is very difficult to get this in because it's so tight in there, but you can, with the swivel even, you got to rotate it counterclockwise till you feel it click and the threads line up, and then go clockwise. And it's good to use a spark plug socket, so we'll try to keep it as straight, keep that socket as straight as possible to feel it click in. Okay, let's see what that is. We have to remember to put this torque wrench back to 13 foot-pounds for the spark plugs. There we go, 15 foot-pounds should be good enough for that. Now we just put this tube back in. There it goes. All right, so now we can finish putting the plenum back on. First, set our torque wrench to 13 so we don't forget it. All right, now it's time to put this plenum back. Remember, this hose over here needs to go back in to the resonator. All right, that's in place. So we get this tube in. There we go, get this tube in. Now everything kind of lines up. And just do it by hand, guys. Don't go using power tools to snap these in. You're just clamping onto plastic. So make sure it's seating properly and then just tighten it up. There we go. Just finger tight. It's not going anywhere. All right. This one especially has to be on good because you don't want any type of debris getting in. All right, nice and tight. Now this hole lines up nicely and we can put that clip back in. Pulled up, goes in. And that side is done. We are done with the passenger side. And the plenum is back on now. It's time to do the driver's side. All right, guys, now we're going to put the rear spark plug in on the driver's side. All right, I think I got the spark plug started fairly well. We're going to have to go in with the smaller setup. Go. Everything seems to be going on smoothly, which is nice. Now it's time to torque it down. Okay, let's see if we can get this in to be able to do the rear spark plug torque. Okay. All right, that got on there. And we will try to keep this as straight as possible when we're doing the torque. I think I might need another extension. As straight as possible. There we go. All right, guys, that was 13 foot-pounds, and this is the contraption we had to get to be able to put that torque wrench on it. Hope that helps. Now we want to put that dielectric grease on here and button this up. So let's get that coil as close as we can to getting in there. Remember, we have to kind of twist that and move it sideways to be able to do this. Okay guys, I brought the coil up so it's coming from the top. Now I'm going to turn it sideways here and then try to feed it. I think it has a better chance of going in. Make sure you get that rubber boot inside the hole. There we go. All right, now we're going to put that screw on. All right, so that rear one, the most difficult one, is in. Now we'll get that boot for the front one and put the dielectric grease on it. You just want to put that dielectric grease in this area where you don't want to get it any other place. All right, and then on this where it seals up against the block to keep moisture out. All right, and now we'll just put that aside and have it waiting for us to get that spark plug in. All right, guys, here we go. Last spark plug to go in. Go counterclockwise till we feel it click. And go clockwise to let it go in. All right, that's pretty good in there with my fingers. I'm going to just try the torque wrench. All right, that is 13 foot-pounds. Now we get that spark plug boot on with the coil. Right. 10 millimeter. All right, and that's finger tight as well. Everything seems to be nice and tight. So now I'm going to put the battery tray back on, and I'm going to switch batteries to a 34, group 34 battery versus the group 25 battery that was little and wimpy. So let's do that next. All right guys, I got the tray back in. Now I'm going to spray it with some of this heavy duty corrosion inhibitor before I put the plastic pan on. I did spray underneath as well. I didn't show that on video. Now I'll put that plastic pan back in, and then I'll put the battery on top of that. You can spray this on the terminals as well to keep any corrosion. Really like this stuff. So again, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I buy all this stuff myself after researching it. And this stuff is also good for keeping rust inhibitor for your frame and everything too. So I do spray it around. I had the opportunity to spray on everything down there. So you put it on and it just coats everything. I did that here, leaves a nice film. All right, so now to put the tray back on and then the battery in. All right, Subaru gives you that arrow for the front, and then you can put this tray in, and as you can see, everything lines up. Now we're going to put the larger battery in. We already saw that it will fit the tray here. All right, so we're going to put this group 34 battery in. Positive terminal is there. I have already charged this battery up because it was made 2 months ago. It's August right now, and because it sat at Costco for 2 months, I decided to just keep it on a trickle charger till it was fully charged. So it's got 800 cold cranking amps, 1,000 cranking amps, and it's got a good reserve on it. So that's why I wanted this. It'll get me home. It'll start in the dead of winter. Now I'm going to clean all these terminals with brushes and then put them on. All right guys, we'll put a red for the positive, a green for the negative. Then we'll just go ahead and clean these to make sure that we get good contact. Again, I'll put everything in the description. All right, see, that's nice and clean right there. You know you're going to get a good contact. All right. So it will be good there. So now let's bring that positive over. Go, nice and clean. And now we know we're going to have really good contacts. And all you need for this is a 10 millimeters. We want to make sure it's pushed all the way down as far as we can get it as we tighten this. All right, so we want to make sure it doesn't move. One thing, I got to make sure the bracket is going to go. There we go. And it will. There. I'll open that up to make sure I could push it down further if I could. The reason I like to do the negative last, and as you should, is because while you're doing the positive, if the negative is not hooked up, you're not going to ground anything and short. This way, you know that you won't be creating sparks or welds. All right, so no movement there. So now we just have to get the bracket to line up. And already I can see it's a little lower than before. The width of the battery is good. The size of the battery is good. So we'll see if the bolts go all the way down or we need a spacer. So to me it looks like we may need a spacer. There isn't as much thread as there is space up here. So I've got a solution for that, and I'll show you here real quick. So I went to my local hardware store and I grabbed some of these plastic spacers. And these actually just go on the top. So let's see how long a one we need. So if we put the longest one, we will get quite a few threads in, which is good. So we'll go with the longest one. That was a 30 millimeter. So where these go is you slide it through, and I just took one of these into the hardware store and saw what fits, and you just put this on here. And again, this is going to hold the battery down. This is more than enough for what you need to do. All right, so let's drive these in, and then we will be able to start the car here in just a minute. See, the battery isn't going anywhere, so I'm just hand tightening these. We don't want to overdo it and crush the cells. There we go. Just so that there's no movement in the battery. And we've got a Group 34 battery in here. That is amazing. Now let's see how it starts up, all right? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up. Please look for all the stuff that I used in the description below, and God bless.